Alright guys, this is a live SPL narration of my teammate SoulWind versus Blacktivities or High Impulse. Now, he can't get on Smog Tours because he's on McDonald's Wi-Fi, so he has to go ahead and play on PO main instead. But this is a black and white OU game, probably the only couple black and white OU games we're going to be seeing on in SPL or that are on PO main or in Pokemon Online are going to be from High Impulse, since for some reason he can never connect the Pokemon Showdown. I'm just gonna ask for teams because I don't know the teams at all. I don't even know my friend Smogon's team. He's on my damn team. I don't even know his teams. This is ridiculous. But there are not many people watching, as I guess not many people caught word of this. I guess they all think it's going on Smog Tours. And for those that don't want to watch the replay, I mean read the log, or they don't have the chance to get the file, I'm just going to be recording this. So, SoulWind is leading with his Jirachi, and High Impulse is leading with his Gothitelle. Like I said, I don't know the teams at all, which kind of sucks, especially considering I'm recording this. And this is black and white, so I have to know the teams. But he's going to go ahead and lead with his... Oh, he's going to switch into his Landorus. And SoulWind is going to go ahead and hit him with the Iron Head. SoulWind got the lead advantage with his Jirachi. I'm not sure what type of Jirachi this is. It could be Scarf. It could be lead Stealth Rock Iron Head. It could be bulky, system defensive. I don't know, but High Impulse goes into his Landorus, which shows the leftovers. Now, again, I don't know the team, so I don't know if this is what's going to have rocks or if there's another Pokemon that is going to have rocks. And these guys aren't pacing the team, which kind of sucks. A lot. I'm trying to record this damn game. This is a disaster. This is like black and white if black and white were DPP. Alright, so... Oh, there's a Swords Dance. So that explains the Gothitelle rather nicely. As Gothitelle with Landorus, SD Landorus, makes a lot of sense, as it will be able to trap Skarmory and stuff like that. And people are continuously asking for the teams. I don't want to ask again. So, whatever. I don't know. He goes to the Swords Dance, and that Jellicent is definitely going to either die, if it's especially defensive, or going to take a really big beating. The Jellicent is really not in a great position. I would not be surprised if it just outright died to an Earthquake, although it is leftovers, so it's not something like Ground Blade or something like that. And, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Alright, so SoulWind's Jellicent dies to a critical hit. Earthquake, which almost certainly mattered, as if he were especially defensive, I don't think he would have... I mean, if he were especially defensive, he probably had another option, but... He goes up to his Latios here, which is probably going to be his only way of revenging the Landorus, I imagine. Or unless he has another Pokemon like Skarmory that would get trapped or something like that. And yeah, these people still aren't revealing teams, but as we see, the Lord Shepherd CPC is threatening Amir with a team reveal if he doesn't reveal the teams, so, or doesn't post the teams. So, alright, he's on his phone, dumbass. I can't. SoulWind, why don't you reveal the teams? Damn it! I want to see this. Alright, so that's obviously, I'm guessing that's Specs Latios. Alright, so he goes to the Stealth Rock with Jirachi. Maybe that's not Specs. Maybe it's like, nah, that's probably his Specs. I would imagine that. I actually should ignore my spectators here. This is no point in having it anymore. I just thought they were going to commentate the teams, and I'm pretty sure they don't count as spectators, so let me just shut that off. But his Jirachi, Hey Impulse is gonna go for the Stealth Rock here, and and Hippowdon's obviously gonna go for the Stealth Rock. Let me just put down these teams: Goth, Lando, Middle T. No, I'm in Middle T. Okay, so he goes for the Trick, and Hippowdon gets a Choice Scarf. That's not really good. Let me just separate this. So I can keep track of the teams: Jirachi, Latios, Hippo, Jellicent. Alright, so what we've seen so far is that High Impulse has the advantage, although SoulWind is a very good player, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if he were able to bring it back from this disadvantage. I don't know how many checks SoulWind has to the SD Landorus, but it looks like that is definitely going to be a threatening Pokemon. Amir is using an interesting Jirachi set. actually, it's Fire Punch, Body Slam, Stealth Rock, Iron Head probably. That looks on it, it feels more like an X and Y set than it does a Black and White set, since Stealth Rock, Jirachi, and Black and White usually are like Icy Wind, Shuckleberry. And I know Amir has run that team before. In fact, he ran a team with that just last week. But SoulWind really is probably not going to be able to beat this Jirachi, especially considering it is leftovers, and he's putting himself at a risk of getting hurt by a Fire Punch burn. So I don't know. I don't know if it's important, if SoulWind should really risk this, because I'm pretty sure that his Jirachi is going to be pretty important. I mean, we don't know the rest of Amir's team, but alright, so he brings out his Keldeo, which is actually a leftovers. We know SoulWind's Jirachi is now specially defensive, Wish Protect. Amir decides to switch out to his Keldeo, which I don't know if that was, I mean, I'm guessing he's predicting SoulWind to go into his Hippowdon at some point. But, okay, that's a really fucking big sub. What in the fuck? Alright, so he doesn't get a burn with Stall. That's kind of surprising. Again, it looks like Amir is taking Oras sets and just slapping them onto a Black and White team. This feels like Oras, quite honestly. But let me update Amir's team as well. And update, the team of SoulWind as well. So, Amir reveals to be probably sub-Combine Keldeo. He could just be sub-3-attack Keldeo, as I know Marth actually used to run a team with that set. SoulWind goes ahead and switches in his Roserade, which probably is going to manage to get some hazards up here. I'm not too sure how many Keldeo checks he really has. Alright, so he brings out the Garchomp, so that's another Pokemon for SoulWind's team. I think we have all 6 for SoulWind. And we're also kind of close to having all 6 for Amir. I believe he has revealed 4 out of the 6. We do not know the other 2. Okay, so he brings in his Landorus on the Outrage. That was a really good play by SoulWind. Hopefully this is only a 2-turn for SoulWind, as otherwise he's going to be trapped in and possibly hit with a Body Slam, which is going to paralyze the Garchomp. He's going to do quite a bit to his Landorus T, and that is definitely going to inhibit Landorus T's ability to Swords Dance and Sweep. We still don't know Amir's 2 other Pokemon, and SoulWind gets a 2-turn, which is definitely in favor of him. With Spikes and Stealth Rock on the field, I could imagine this Garchomp, whatever set it is, doing quite a bit of damage to Amir's team, or at least it has done a decent amount of damage so far, if SoulWind continues to make good predictions. So, SoulWind is probably going to be able to, he's obviously going to switch out here, but the question is, what will he switch out to? We know that the Jellicent is dead, so I'm going to put these little tags around Jellicent to know that Jellicent is indeed dead. Alright, so I have to pause the video there for a second, because, as we all know, we cannot have a PDC video without somebody interrupting me. But Amir reveals that he has a Dragonite, which is probably the CB variant, judging by the damage Fire Punch does to SoulWind's Jirachi. Here are the turns if you need to read them, what basically happened. I'm just going to say that he switched in his Dragonite, and he Fire Punched SoulWind's Jirachi, and SoulWind managed to paralyze it and Iron Hit it to death. So, Amir's team is looking more and more like a team inclined to counter SoulWind's, the more we look at it, because, let's be honest here, a Gothitelle is meant to counter people like Blue, SoulWind, who run this type of bulky sand offense style. And stuff like CB Dragonite, SD Landorus T, Subcombine Keldeo, all these Pokemon arts, it reveals Tyranids. That's both teams entirely revealed. So now we know what teams they're using, both entirely. He brings out his T-Tar, which it could be Choice Scarf. He makes a really good play there as he goes out to his T-Tar on the Latios switch, and that is definitely not good for SoulWind. I can definitely say that right now, as this is probably going to be able to manage to pursue and kill the Latios. I don't believe Specs Draco Meteor can kill. I know it comes pretty close to killing, but I'm not quite sure if it just flat out kills the T-Tar, even with the damage from both Stealth Rock and Spikes. But we'll have to see here. This could be a 50-50. I do not know the rolls. But alright, so he goes for the Pursuit, and SoulWind goes for the Surf, which I don't know if I would have made that play, since I believe Draco Meteor is a bit stronger than Surf. But I guess this also can be good for SoulWind, as this does mean his Jirachi is at least going to be able to pass a wish to something. We don't know what, but it's going to be able to pass a wish at least to maybe something that can beat the Landorus or something like that. He could pass a wish to something like his own Garchomp. He could just Iron Head this Jirachi and heal up. I think right now, the ball is definitely back in SoulWind's court. The Tyranitar is basically nothing more than a sack at this point. His Jirachi is getting weakened by hazards. Amir's main sweeper is in Keldeo, and his Landorus T are pretty weakened. This is looking like a pretty good wrap for SoulWind, quite honestly. I couldn't really imagine SoulWind losing this. Although then again, this is black and white, so you never really know. He still has the Garchomp in the back, which we still don't know it's set. I'm not too sure about the Outrage calc. It might not be like Choice Band or something like that, but then again, I'm not too sure. I think it would be in the best interest of SoulWind to just go for the Iron Head here. Or the Protect, yeah, I completely forgot about the Protect, because that way he gets it 100% the wish. Now, he's going to go out to his Hippowdon, which is Choice Scarfed, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. So Hippowdon doesn't give a damn about status. It's not really that needed anymore. It can be used to, I guess, supposedly tank something like a Earthquake from Landorus T after +2 and Whirlwind it out. But Hippowdon's going to go ahead and just Whirlwind, which is obviously the best play SoulWind could possibly do there. Just keep hazards racking up as Hippowdon is basically going to die soon. He doesn't really need it, but then again, it is useful enough to have as a switch into Jirachi without it being a real Pokemon needed. So it's kind of just there, I guess you could just say. Amir is probably going to bring out either his Keldeo or... He can't bring really... I mean, he can bring out his Gothitelle, but I don't really think he'd be able to hit the Hippowdon anyway. So he's going to bring out his Keldeo here, which probably... It could kill the Hippowdon. I think that his SoulWind's Hippowdon is physically defensive, so I'm pretty sure Scald could manage to kill it. But instead, High Impulse or Blacktivities is just going to go ahead and Calm Mind up. I am not too sure of SoulWind's Roserade spread. And he actually manages to kill him with the Secret Sword, guys. Now, this is dangerous. This is where it gets pretty dangerous. That could be a Scarf Garchomp, and that could just flat-out manage to kill the Keldeo. And judging by how SoulWind brought the Garchomp in, this could mean two things. One, this is a Scarf Garchomp, or two, this Garchomp, I'm almost 100% sure it tanks the Scald. And even after Burn, I think after Sand, Outrage is probably still going to kill. But he could have either went Jirachi or Garchomp there, but because he does go to Garchomp, that probably means it is indeed Scarf, so that's going to go ahead and kill the Keldeo there. Amir is basically forced to go out to his Jirachi here. There's really nothing else he can do. This time Garchomp is not at -1, so this Outrage is definitely going to do a little bit more. Although I'm pretty sure it's not exactly in SoulWind's Oh, that sucks. That's not good, actually. Now, this is actually a closer game than it would have been because he got the Paralysis. Now, this game is very close. It relies on a couple 50-50s and a Paralysis. This is not as close of a game as I thought it would be. I thought SoulWind was definitely going to have the advantage there, but as we saw, black and white is anyone's game. Amir actually brought it back, and he has a chance to win now with the Landorus T. It is obvious that the Hippowdon is not going to be able to... Okay, so it's once again a very close game. Basically, it's all up to Jirachi at this point, as we do now know that his Hippowdon actually does lack any sort of move to hit the Landorus T with, so it can't Ice Fang it or something like that. SoulWind is obviously going to be forced to go out... I mean, he couldn't... No, he really can't Whirlwind anything with the Hippowdon. He's going to be forced to go out to his Jirachi here. He's going to probably just try and Body Slam, get the Para, Wish up the full so he can tank an Earthquake. And I'm not too sure on how fast his Jirachi is, but I would imagine that it probably would... It depends, really. I mean, judging by its bulk, it probably is slower than Amir's Landorus, but, you know, now it all just depends. If Amir gets a Paralysis with the T-Bolt, that could be really bad for SoulWind. I'm pretty sure if he gets a Paralysis, then that's basically game, aside from a couple of 50-50s and stuff like that. But we're going to have to see what that happens. I am pretty sure his Jirachi is slower, as his Jirachi is slower than the Gothitelle. I guess we'll just have to see how this plays out. If Amir gets a 10% Paralysis chance, then this is looking like it's going to be Amir's game. if he doesn't get the paralysis, then it could still be anybody's game depending on the paralysis. What SoulWind has to do is kill this thing right here with a body slam, not get paralyzed by Thunderbolt, and then paralyze the opposing Lander's T, and then attempt to kill it with Ironhead or something like that. I'm not too sure about the calcs of Ironhead after Intimidate, but Amir's Landorus is not in very tip-top condition, so I do imagine it would only require one flinch to do so. So I guess we'll have to see how this is going to play out. I'm not... Okay, so SoulWind is the one thinking. SoulWind is probably calcing the Earthquake versus his Jirachi. I think, just by common knowledge, Jirachi is able to tank incredible things, but I'm not so sure if it can tank a super effective stab Earthquake. I think this might be a loss for SoulWind, and a win for High Impulse. I actually forgot to put the tags on this right now, so I'm just gonna say Jirachi, Hippowdon, the SD Lando T. So just so we know what we're at right now. Let me just check the recording. Alright, so this game is at 16 minutes live right now, so SoulWind is gonna go ahead and if he protects, then he's not gonna be at full, and he's just... SoulWind's only play here is the body slam. That's the only play he can make. I mean, I guess he could Ironhead, but because it's obvious, I mean, he's not gonna switch in his Lander's T here, but I mean, if he protects here, then he's just taking a little extra damage. So I think the only play SoulWind has is to just go for the body slam. I'm guessing what's taking so long is either a calc or something like that, I would imagine. Alright, so Amir does not get the paralysis or a crit, which puts Jirachi a little below. And now it's going to be up to the Landorus to win Amir the game. Once again, guys, this is a close game. Amir's Landorus, it probably is... I'm not too sure. He actually was probably calculating the Ironhead as well to see if Ironhead killed at -1. Or trying to calculate the Lander's T spread. But I don't know, guys. This is anybody's game. I'm not going to switch screens to calc. My internal damage calculator is off. So at this point, you know, I really don't know what's going to happen. This could be a Lander's T that's a little bulkier than it is offensive, and it could not kill the Jirachi. I mean, he got the -1 on the Jirachi, so this, you know, I don't know if Ironhead's going to kill or not. I have a feeling Ironhead does kill, but I'm not too sure if SoulWind's running any attack, which I kind of doubt. Maybe like 80 Vs or so, but yeah, I don't know. This is looking kind of like a close game. It's really just going to be relying on SoulWind calcing. Amir only has one move, and that's Earthquake. He has to hope that it kills or it crits or something like that. This is a close game. I don't know what to say. There's really nothing else to say, but SoulWind is calcing to see if he either is forced to body slam or not, or if he has to rely on a roll, or, you know, that's what SoulWind is doing. I think Jirachi might tank one Earthquake. I have a feeling this Jirachi is going to be able to tank an Earthquake, but one Earthquake and no more, quite obviously. If the Jirachi is somehow faster than the Lander's T, then that could be... Oh, it lives, and Lander's T's faster. Jirachi goes to the Ironhead, and it does kill the Landorus. He did not need the body slam para it. All he needed to do was hit him with the Ironhead. I figured that would kill, but that's a good game, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. This was a live SPL match. It was on Pokemon Online, so I decided to record it so everyone would have the ability to see. But yeah, that was game. I hope you guys enjoyed the game, even though it was not mine. It was a teammate of mine on SPL, SoulWind. And all rambling from me aside on who's going to have to make the play or who's going to calc, I think that was a pretty solid black and white game, if I do say so myself. I think it was honestly pretty obvious that Amir definitely tried to counter SoulWind's style, and it almost worked. But it didn't quite get him the victory. I'm not sure what the roll on Earthquake was. Maybe Amir got really unlucky and got a minimum roll, but then again, I guess he had more of a 4% or 5% barrier if he also had the blow past. So, as of now, that's pretty much it. I believe this is the first game of the Runers versus the Falcons series, and SoulWind is going to start leading us 1-0. So I guess I'll upload my game versus Tsung a little later in the week when I play him. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next